Morning, Alf. Today we're going to talk about some of the reasons why sports cards and collectibles are at all-time highs. Some of it might surprise you, and actually a lot of it has nothing to do with the actual hobby itself and more of just a shift in the way that people are living these days.
Lloyd, what are you doing?
It feels like you're running at an incredible rate, Harry.
And I think it's going to be an interesting discussion, so make sure to hang around until the very end. We're also going to finish out the video with some of the hottest sports cards on the planet, so make sure that you finish out the video. Before I dive in, make sure to get $25 off your PSA order. Your first PSA submission, it's SCD25 code at the shipping and billing screen. Just a one card minimum to try out PSA. Tell a friend who hasn't used PSA before. Save $25 off with that SCD25 code. All right, we all know we've been living in a very inflationary world here over the last 5 years, especially in the United States. A lot of stimulus money flowing through, going back to 2020 during the pandemic. And what's happened from this? What has stemmed from it? There's been some results, some things that have come out. But one thing that we all know for sure, and the numbers don't lie because they're all there, just smack right there in front of our face. So you didn't necessarily have to be a genius over the last 5 years. You just had to put money into assets. And I'm not talking about buying hobby boxes, unless maybe you kept them sealed and maybe you're reselling them sealed. I'm not talking about opening up hobby boxes or buying repacks or getting into breaks or gambling products or playing roulette at the casino. No. I'm talking about just putting money into solid assets. This is just literally just the basic fundamental stuff. Stocks, real estate, gold, and I'm going to throw Bitcoin into this mix because it has turned out to be, based on what's kind of transpired with regulation and it being adopted into the financial system, it is part of this bucket. It's on the outside if we compare it to gold, for sure. Gold's just long running. People have been putting money into gold for a very long time, and I think it's hit like $4,000 an ounce now. Gold is at all-time highs. I think, what is it, Peter Schiff that's been railing, put your money in gold. Peter Schiff's a happy guy. He's annoying as hell, but he's a happy guy these days, and he was right. But you didn't have to be smart. You just had to put money into assets because the buying power with the US dollar has been decreasing over time. We know that. And so the first part of this equation is the whales have gotten bigger, meaning the whales, the high net worth folks, their net worth has gone up dramatically over the last 5 years. And I do think a lot of people are taking money off the table, taking profits, whether that's stocks or real estate or whatever it is, crypto gains. You always hear the crypto bros. The crypto bros, yeah, if they were in the right stuff early, a lot of the stuff has gone up dramatically. There's altcoins and things that have not worked out, but there's a lot of stuff that has gone up dramatically over time. So yes, the crypto bros selling off, and a lot of them are trading, buying and selling and that sort of thing. And they're putting money into other things. And some of that might be stocks, real estate. It also might be trading cards. It might be collectibles, Pokemon cards, whatever it is. But that is something that has certainly happened here. People taking profits, taking money off the table and putting it into other things where they think, yeah, there could be some pretty good upside.
Y'all have a good time.
Oh, will do. Hey, what's your pet rat's name?
Is my pet what?
What the fuck? Oh, what the fuck?
I don't know him.
I also think that people have made enough money in the traditional stuff to where they're like, you know what? Money's not such a big issue anymore. I'm going to buy into some fun things that I think that might have some upward trajectory, that I think actually could gain value over time. And that's where I think you're seeing the big players come in and buy big cards, big trading cards. Historically, that has not been the case. Somebody just bought a $12.9 million modern basketball card. It's a great card, don't get me wrong. But if you look at the trajectory of that card going back in time, what was it like? A guy pulled it, sold it for like $30,000 and sold it to another guy for $75,000, who then sold it to another guy for like $150,000. And then that guy held on to it for 10, 12 years or something. 10 years, I think is what it was, and sold it for $12.9 million. The upward trajectory has been wild on not just that card, but a lot of cards. Go back and look at whether you're looking at Market Movers or Card Ladder, pick your data tool that's got the historical data going back, looking at auction results and eBay results going back 5, 6, 7, 10 years. The card market was really stagnant for a long time. It wasn't really doing a whole lot of anything. And then now we look at where a lot of cards are. Now, the new product, the new players, the stuff that comes out, people will say, well, yeah, but 99% of cards go down in price. They certainly do. We're talking more iconic cards, stuff that people are chasing after. It might be a Willie Mays rookie card. It might be 52 Topps Mantle. It might be an 86 Fleer Jordan, or whatever those cards are. Look at the trajectory over the last 5, 10 years, and it's been pretty wild. Yeah, you had the pandemic, kind of the middle finger graph where stuff went really stupid for about a year. But even if you took that out of the graph, like just take 2020, 2021 off and you just look at it over time, that like it never happened, it's still sizable. It's sizable, the gains in those kind of iconic trading cards or sports memorabilia pieces, or outside of sports cards, just other collectibles, vintage comic books, graded action figures, rare stuff.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pies, fresh from the sewers to you. Their mind go delicious, you know that's true, because they're filled with mutagen goo. That's vanilla pudding goo. They got the tastiest, flakiest, greatest crust, even better than on pizza. And it's green like us. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pies, fresh from the sewers to you. Radically sweet.
They can't be beat.
And there's a free turtle sticker inside. That's neat. New from Hostess. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pie.
Vintage stuff, it's gone up pretty dramatically over time. So I just think the whales are like, you know what? And Kevin O'Leary is a perfect example of this. He really enjoys watches. I think that he probably just enjoys buying and owning expensive watches and selling them occasionally and that sort of thing. I don't know if he's as into trading cards. I think he looks at it more of just, hey, we can hold on to this long term and I think it's going to go up just based on inflationary environment that we're in. And just buying the tippity top, the best of the best trading cards. His thing is probably, hey, if I can buy the best of the best anything right now, we'll probably do well on it. So hell, throw trading cards in the mix. So number one, the whales have gotten more whaley. They're bigger. The whales are bigger. Second part of this equation, I think, because I look at young people and I'm thinking like, a lot of 20, 25, 30-year-olds, they're not established yet. They're still building out a life. But something that I've seen a dramatic shift is not only just young men, especially waiting to get married, but also just not having kids. When I look at, especially I see this on the Pokemon card side too, sports cards, but also Pokemon. When you look at kind of the big players, some of these guys have built multi-million-dollar Pokemon businesses over the last 5 years, kind of ridden the wave of it going up and just going nuts. They might be married or they might not be, but they don't have any kids, I've noticed. I don't hear them talking about it, and they're probably late 20s, early 30s. People just deciding, you know what, I'm not going to have kids, or just waiting until they're 30, 35, 40, and young males to have their first kid, which means they really have a lot of disposable income, assuming you got your career going, your businesses are going, you're working, you're kind of working the plan. That means that you have a lot of extra money that's not going to daycare expenses and all the other things that come along with having kids. Kids are expensive, that are going into, investing in quotation marks, in sealed product on the Pokemon side, or investing in iconic sports cards, or buying into other collectibles, or just stocks, real estate, all the other things. And I think that's an interesting move because that's a lot different than what it was going back 15, 20, 25, 30 years ago. I think young men are spooked by the divorce rate. Unfortunately, my parents got divorced in the early 90s, and I feel like that was a wave of divorce. The 90s was a divorce wave. There's a funny picture. It's not funny, obviously, for the people involved, but it's basically like people in a courtroom that are splitting up Beanie Babies in the late 90s, in family law court because they're going through a divorce. Divorce is horrible, by the way. I've been through it as a kid and as an adult. Tears your life apart, but I think it has the ability to rebuild you for the better. You learn a lot of things. But I do think that a lot of young men, and I'm not saying that young women are not a part of this as well, but I just think young men especially, it just feels like they're not in a rush to get married, not getting married at 20, for example, whereas if you go back generations, it was pretty normal to get married at 20, 22, 25. Just not the case anymore. People are just taking more time to kind of build out their career, or building out kind of a little bit of a nest egg, getting their financial stuff in order, before just diving into that world of having, building out a family, which is, it's great, it's amazing, it's also expensive. But this is allowing younger people that are not, normally as financially established because of these other factors, they do have that extra money to kind of throw into these things, to speculate on stuff and invest in stocks and do all these other things, which also kind of boosts these markets up. Because whether we're talking about sports cards or Pokemon, whatever collectibles it is, you need to have more and more participants. You can't just have, billionaires roll into a market, high money folks, the multi-millionaires roll into a market and almost kind of prop up that market. It'll just be temporary. I actually think that's kind of what happened in 2021 mostly. Yes, there was people getting stimulus checks and putting it towards trading cards, but I think there was a lot of whales playing in the space in the 2020, 2021 world, and then they kind of bowed out. They bowed out of it, and maybe they sold off, took some money off the table. But what we have now in the trading card market, which is different, I think 5 years later, is we just have a lot more participants, whether that's lower, upper middle income, and then more high net worth folks. There's just more overall people, and we see that. You know, if you look at card shows from 2020, like right after the pandemic versus today, they're bigger. You look at card shops, 2025 versus 2021, way more of them coming. Brady just announced another 6 locations that he's opening up. I was talking to Tampa Card Shop Bryant yesterday. Great interview too. Check that out if you haven't been checking out the interview series. Great talk because he's in the mix. But he was talking about there's 5 new card shops that are opening up there in the Tampa Bay area where he is. No slowing down as far as just kind of a bullish outlook for people looking to start businesses in the space, which many, I think, of critics will say, hey, look, this won't hold up long term. Card shops will go out of business. And they're right, because a lot of this is cyclical. And if you have too many people that are just opening up card shops every day, eventually that's going to kind of circle back and there will be some that go out of business. That's just the life cycle of business. And that's the way that it goes. But he's talking about 5 more, shops opening up, and there's already card shops in Tampa outside of his. So there's a lot of movement going on. And to me, most of it has to do with just asset prices that are absolutely booming, people moving money out of cash, getting into assets. It's another reason why I really push back against people that are focused a lot of energy around the sports betting, the gambling stuff, whether that's within the sports card world or if it's outside at casinos. It's just, you got to be careful, because we are living in a world now where you're either building assets and attempting to kind of get ahead of inflationary environments, or you might be gambling money away, or you might be spending money on stuff where you don't have any sort of return. It's just stuff. And then you're going to get stuck. In the long run, it will hurt people. It'll hurt your financial future. And that's the thing that's a little bit scary. That's why when I look at the U.S. as a whole, there is a haves and a have-nots building out there. If you're just getting going, you really have to fight. It might be that you're working 2 or 3 jobs. It might be that you're going to night school to get the college degree. It's more important than ever to try to set yourself up to be able to build assets and have that extra income to do it. Because for the folks, and it sucks, but for the folks that are just stuck, that all they've got is money to pay the rent, buy the necessities, they're just not going to be able to get ahead. That is certainly going to be tough. It always has been, but it's going to get harder, I think, over time. For people that might just have a little bit of disposable income, just want to collect cards, because I do get that a lot. Hey, buddy, we're not here to just get, to buy iconic cards that are assets. We just want to enjoy the hobby. The good news there is that the singles market is wide open. It's wide open, even for new product. If there's something you're really excited about, or, the kids for Christmas, oh man, they're looking forward to the new Topps basketball that'll come out. Well, guess what? The boxes will be expensive. It'll be expensive to open packs, but what will not be expensive a month later, a couple months later, is singles for that stuff. And there will be a bunch of new releases that Topps will come out with Cooper Flag stuff. There are many really cool cards to look at that are on the lower end that are dollar cards, 50-cent cards. There's plenty of trading cards. You don't have to necessarily open up packs to get that enjoyment. Or if you want to open up packs, open up 88 Topps football packs. Go back and open 89 Pro Set football packs. You can get 36 packs in a box. I think it's like 30 or 40 bucks. Maybe it's 50 bucks. It's about $1 a pack. You can open packs, but maybe it's, Terminator 2 packs, from the 90s. Maybe it's, I'm shaking my camera. Maybe it's Skybox, 1991 Skybox. They're literally like 40 bucks a box for them. And you're like, oh, but they're not worth anything. But you can have fun, enjoy. If it's just about opening the packs, you can find Michael Jordan cards. You can find Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. You can find cool players, back from the 90s basketball days that will offer some nostalgia. And if you're a young person, you can learn about those players. Mitch Richmond, who is he? He's actually a pretty damn good basketball player. Tim Hardaway Jr. out here playing. Well, guess what? Tim Hardaway Sr. was a big dog back when I was a kid, playing for Golden State. He was a chase. I remember his Fleer rookie card going back in time. I just bought one for a couple bucks to add into my nostalgia binder, because it was just a card. I remember at the card show, it was so fun to try to find those cards, try to find a deal on them. But even then, it might be $5 or $10 to get a Tim Hardaway Sr. rookie card, and that was expensive. It was like insane to buy a $10 card as a kid, unless it was like Jose Canseco, that is like, oh man, he's a superstar. So you don't have to be a whale. You don't have to be somebody that's spending huge dollars in the space to really enjoy it. But I think that we also need to look at big picture. Why is this happening? Why are Michael Jordan cards, the rare Michael Jordan cards going up in price. Hell, not even rare 90s insert cards for him and PSA 10 holders are going up just because of the influx of interest and money. But the whales are getting bigger, my friends. The whales are getting bigger. They have more money, whether that be crypto returns, stock turns, whatever that is, it's happening and it's flowing down into our industry. And so on that note, I will flip the camera around. We'll take a look at some of the hottest cards on eBay. Stick around. Friends, welcome back to another Sports Card Dad episode. Hottest sports on eBay. Here in the PSA eBay store, we've got some fun ones to look at today. Make sure that you understand if you're grading cards with PSA, sure, you can send them all home. You can also send some of them to the PSA vault and then sell them through eBay. PSA also has a program now to, as cards are finishing up getting graded, you could potentially get offers right out of the gate. So there's a lot of gamesmanship going on right now when you're grading cards, a lot of fun there to where you get the offers immediately. You could also sell on eBay. You could put them on in the PSA vault and actually receive offers for cards that are just sitting in the PSA vault as well. So there's a lot of cool things, cool options to where you can integrate this with eBay and also vault them as needed. Also, we've got it scrolling, but don't forget to use the SCD25 promo code for your first submission over there at PSA, just a 1-card minimum for $25 off that order. All right, let's get this thing fired up. I want to look at the first player that I want to look at. I am not excited about facing him as a New Orleans Saints fan. It is Ohio State product Aguba, the Bucs wide receiver, the first-round receiver. I was hoping that it would take some time for him to gel with Baker Mayfield as a New Orleans Saints fan, but it has not taken long, and this guy is crushing defenses. Now, I don't know. I was trying to look at it. I don't know. Does Aguba have NFL cards yet? I don't think that he does have NFL cards. So right now, you're just seeing a lot of kind of the Ohio State stuff, the Bowman Best, the Bowman U type stuff for this guy that's been going bonkers. Here's an example, numbered out of 99. Great photo here. It is the green mini diamond 2024 Bowman Best University, asking $250 OBO. It's a PSA 10. It's a pop, total pop 1, and it is this card. So we've got a pop 1 in PS. Actually, this is the only card that's been graded by PSA. It shows here using the data. Yeah, we've got one graded, and it was a PSA 10. But yeah, this guy has been going off, and we're actually going to look next at the guy that is throwing him the ball. 2018 National Treasures out of 99. I've owned this card before, one of these. Not this exact one, but I've owned this card before. They're asking $750 OBO. Man, there was a time when these autographs, Baker has gone through just a total roller coaster ride where he was off to the Rams and he played for the Panthers for a little bit. To be honest with you, I wish the Saints had made a play for Baker when he was going to the Bucs. I was like, man, I really hope that they take a play on him, take a flyer out on Baker Mayfield, because you felt like he's got that winning attitude. He's a guy that he has moxie. You want your quarterback to care. You want your quarterback to give a damn and to be fiery. And this is that guy. He just reminds me of kind of the next generation of a Brett Favre type player, plays with a lot of emotion. There's not a shortage necessarily of his rookie cards going back to 2018, but he does have some really nice ones. National Treasures autographs. He's got Prism, of course. 2018 Prism, some of the 2018 Prism, especially the silvers, are somewhat short printed, if you will, going back to 2018. So he does have some nice options for people that want to collect Baker Mayfield or speculate on him. Who knows? I mean, maybe he takes this Bucs team to a Super Bowl. There's chatter in the sports talk world that he's playing MVP type level. Granted, we're 5 games into the season. We've got a long way to go. Again, I am not excited to face this guy. We still have him twice. I do not like the Bucs at all. They're a division rival, but I like the fact they're going back to these retro throwback, the creamsicle jerseys. Gives me nostalgia when the Bucs were not good going back in time. This card's sitting here at $750 OBO. I remember when these were $200, $250, and I was buying and selling these. I think I bought one of these at like $250, sold it for $400, and thinking like that was a pretty good flip at the time. But he is looking really good when you look at kind of which quarterbacks are going to separate themselves from the rest of the league as we move forward. He's still relatively young. He's 7 years into the league. He's probably 30. I mean, barring health, he might have another decade in the league. And if he can stay healthy, kind of stay up into his late 30s, maybe he can bring home a Super Bowl to the Tampa Bay Bucs. They have a lot of weapons. Defense plays pretty good football. We'll have to see how it goes. But that was the first one that I wanted to show. The next one, I'm showing this because, again, these are not my type of cards, but they are super, super popular in the hobby. And of course, it is Kaboom's 2018 Kaboom. This is rookie. It's got the RC logo on it. They're asking $38.99 OBO. It's a huge price tag, PSA 10. What does this look like as far as the PSA data goes? So you've got 59 10s, you've got 57 9s. I'm going to see if I can find some card ladder data on this to see if there is any comps that I, or at least eBay. Take a look at eBay and see what the comps are on this. I would say, like, man, this is a crazy price, ask for this sort of card. But Kabooms go for crazy money for players that aren't playing nearly as well as Baker is. Now, granted, a lot of them might be, the numbered versions, the green or the gold. But this one is from his rookie season. It'll be interesting to see. This looks like a huge price tag to me, but let me know in the comment section, is that a decent price for this card? And again, I'll try to see if I can track down some card ladder data and see if there's a comp to look at it, and I'll flash it on the screen if there is. Stay on football because I've noticed there's quite a few of these autographs from the TB12 Tom Brady collection, the Pedigree collection. It's a lot of early Tom Brady cards that are in-person autoed. So they're, aftermarket autos, if you will. They're not pack pulled, but man, they're selling for some big money. And here's one that ends on Sunday night. Current pricing at time of recording at $952. But the one thing I like about these is he's thrown inscriptions on them. So you have an authentic card here, 2003 top. So nothing super special about the card itself, but it's signed by Tom Brady, PSA DNA certified, and it's got a "Let's Go" inscription on it, which a lot of people like that, saying that he's got there the "Let's Go" saying. So it's a cool card. It's one, I think, if you're a Tom Brady fan, there are quite a few of these out there, so these aren't mega rare. He seems to be signing quite a few of these. He seems to just be signing a lot in general, which I think, if you're looking at the overall Tom Brady auto market, how does that look over time if he does do a lot of kind of in-person signings, if he's doing a lot of signings for Topps products moving forward, which it most likely he will be. He is tied very closely in with Topps. So it'll be interesting to see how people feel about that and how that market evolves over time. But this is a cool piece, I think, as a collector. It's obviously expensive, but Tom Brady autos are expensive in general. So wanted to share this. All right, the last football card of the day, priced high here. We've got a Puka Nacua Silver Prism, and it is in a PSA 10 from 2023. It's his rookie Silver Prism. The one thing about this card is it's plentiful. So if we look at the population data that's provided to us here, I believe there's 887 10s, about 1,400 9s. So this is not a rare card at all. Actually, recent sale, it did bump up a little bit, but recent sale at about $130. So this is $350 OBO, but it is pretty far over the mark from where they typically sit. But Puka Nacua, the reason why I bring him up is he is the NFL leader right now in receptions through week 5. I think he's got like 53 catches for about 500 yards or so and a couple of touchdowns. He's tearing it up in that Rams offense, getting a lot of looks, a lot of touches thrown his way. So he's one of the hottest receivers in football. But this one, I think it's an interesting card, maybe not at this price point, but something to keep an eye on. As this guy, his career has been trajecting upward. Very interesting, as we do see more and more money being put into skill players in football, not just quarterbacks, but the Justin Jeffersons of the world. I'm sure Ashton Genty is going to have some big card sales. We're seeing, a lot of vets to established players, running backs. I mean, there's pretty sizable money being spent on Derrick Henry and Alvin Kamara and some of these guys, Christian McCaffrey for some of their more rare stuff. So it's pretty cool to see some of the skill players getting some love as well on the football side. We'll shift over now to forgotten Caitlin Clark, all the rage going back to in the hobby. Not that long ago, 4, 5, 6 months ago, injuries derailed her second season, and this has spelled disaster for people putting money into Caitlin Clark cards. I'm one of them. I did sell off some of these at the National. I have about 10 nice rookie cards for her that are numbered, whether it be Select or Prism. I've tried to hold on to the PSA 10s that I've got, but I do think this is kind of an interesting one because I am of the opinion, now granted, there's a lot of moving parts. The league is about to go through discussions. The worst run league ever is the WNBA. The current commissioner is clueless. And so there's a lot of question marks. But the one thing that I do believe in is Clark's skill set, her draw to the league, whether it's this league or another league that she's involved in, if it comes down to that. I think that long term, she is a fighter. She's going to be playing somewhere, somehow. And we just kind of hope that injuries don't just bring her career, shorten her career or bring it to an end, prematurely. But this is an example, though, of a player. A lot of people down on this player, not really, there's nothing really to talk about. There's no hype around her currently. But could that hype return once we get into the spring, preseason WNBA, assuming that everything goes well, I guess, with the collective bargaining talks? But here's a card here, PSA 8 Silver Prism. This is not the shooting version, but the other version, card number 145. It's a PSA 8, so it is an affordable grade. These are really tough grades, brutal grades. I mean, the gem rate, what's the gem rate looking like currently on this one? So there's 80 10s, and there's, they've graded 1,450 so far. There's 80 10s. So yeah, 10% of 1,400 would be 140 10s. So it's like 7% gem rate. It is a brutally tough low gem rate for these cards, which means that, the 9s and the 8s, they become more affordable. This card's sitting at $78 with 3 days ago. It ends on Sunday night. Let me know your thoughts on the Caitlin Clark market. If this stuff gets really cheap, it starts to really kind of bottom out over the next couple months, I might buy more Caitlin Clark cards with the idea that I'm going to sell some of them as we move into the spring and there's maybe some preseason hype. She's back, that sort of thing. We'll see what happens. All right, I lied. We're going to finish out with one more football card. It's football season, guys. Cut me some slack. Patrick Mahomes 2017 Optic Base PSA 10. This is a card that has been expensive at certain periods of time, but Patrick Mahomes finally showing a little bit of a chink in the armor. It started with the Super Bowl last season. The Eagles absolutely demolished the Chiefs. And now the Chiefs started off 2-3. And now there's some question marks, around this team. And can Mahomes kind of pull them out of this rut? They just lost recently again. This card at $710. This one ends on Monday night. Recent sales, it's dipped down a little bit. There was a recent sale at $1,000. I remember when this card was $1,500, $1,600 all day, and we've seen a little bit of a decline. It's not a rare card at all. I mean, a PSA 10 pop is $4,793, $4,793. Very plentiful, but the demand was so high for this card because he was so electric for the last 7 years. He's just been on top of the football world. Are we finally going to see a little bit of a slide for Patrick Mahomes? Will they, not make the Super Bowl? Will they not make the playoffs? I know that sounds crazy, like a Chiefs team not make the playoffs. But look, they're 2-3. They've struggled. I do think that they'll pull it back together. I think that they'll rally. But what if they don't? At some point, in a player's career, there's got to be some adversity, things that don't go your way. The ball bounces the other way. Injuries happen on teams. Will this be the time where Mahomes finally, his card prices cool off, because they've been very expensive really since 2021. I mean, they haven't really dipped much, even going back in time, just people have been like, what, if I'm not putting money on Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes is the best active player. Will he see a slide down, here over the next little bit? And this is something to watch. I'm going to pay attention to the Mahomes market. Not to say that it's going to zero. No, not at all. But will there be movement just to other players? Will people say, what? I don't know. Mahomes might have a bad couple of seasons. My cards are way up from when I bought them, maybe. And I'm going to take some money off the table and sell some of my Patrick Mahomes stuff. I don't know. I'd like to see how that kind of plays out. That is what we've got for this week's episode, my friends. Don't forget, again, to use that SED25 code for first-time submitters to take $25 off that first submission, just a 1-card minimum to try out PSA. We will be back again next week with another one of these episodes. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.